Um, Before I start, I'm very particular about memories. Memories are very important to me. I know this is, and to also ease the tension, I want to take a picture. Sorry. How do they know that I came for TEDx? All the way from my Okay, so I am here to talk about the topic, which is building bridges and not walls. And I've had, when the topic came to me, I had several things in my head. Who am I talking to? And what am I talking about? How do I get this message across to everyone seated here and not be stereotyped in, this is what you have to do, this is what... I think most of the people here have heard it all. But there is one particular thing I would like to talk about, which is your mindset. A lot of people don't talk about the mindset. And the mindset is extremely important. It is the first drive. Most times, and whenever I have to speak to people, I always like to use life references. So, for instance, I am also a power biker. I ride a power bike. And if you're riding and you're looking at a certain direction, the moment you get distracted or wherever you're looking at, that is where your bike is moving to. So even if you have the mindset to ride, or you have it in your mind to ride straight, the moment you get distracted and you look at that direction, that is where your bike will tilt to. And that is why even when you go through your riding classes, they'll tell you that you need to concentrate, you need to stay focused. And when you wake up in the morning to put yourself together, to think of what you have to do, what are you thinking about? It is very, very important. Your mindset is your drive, is the direction at which you're looking at. So no matter how much you put yourself together, gather all these things, and you don't have the right mindset, everything we have learnt here today is void. I don't know if I'm making sense at all. So secondly, we need to discover the problem. You need to ask yourself the questions, the W's. Why? For why? What purpose am I doing this thing? It is very, very important that you ask yourself questions, because I believe that in every society, in every community, there is a problem. And I believe that we are problem solvers. I believe that we can discover the problems within ourselves and we can put ourselves together. I know a lot of people, when we do things, we think about ourselves. But I tell you that there is no business that stands on its own. If you do not, it is easier to break a broomstick than a bunch of a broom itself. So you need to understand that you need people. You need to know the kind of people you are bringing together. I jotted out some points even before I got here. And one of the points I jotted down was being true to yourself. As much as we have the right mindset, or we want to have the right mindset, and we want to dream big, we need to be realistic in our dreams. You cannot sit down and dream of having, I don't even know the right illustration to use, but you need to have the right dreams. As much as we want to achieve so much in life, and as much as we want to be great leaders, we want to have a better community, we need to be realistic with what we are aspiring to do, and we need to work towards that. Am I making sense at all to anybody here? I would like to have an interactive class with people. Whenever I have to start to speak to people, I like to ask, if I'm ministering to you, if I'm talking to you, if I'm passing on a message to you, I'm not just here to speak. I'm here to inspire and to make sure that, and hope that whatever you have learned from what I have said here, it goes to the next level. Now, another thing we need as a business entrepreneur, a lot of people are here and a lot of people don't have business plan. And then you aspire, you bring in your people together, you've strategized, you've made the right people, or you've met the right people without your business plan, you have the tendencies of losing it. Because you need to plan yourself that from here, in the next 5 years, what am I aspiring to be? Where do I want to be? Where is this business going to go? Let us be realistic with what we are doing. So in 3-4 years, if nothing has happened, I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years. So if this and this hasn't happened in the next 3 to 4 years into my plan, then there is something wrong. And there is nothing wrong with starting all over again. A lot of times people tell us, dream big, do this, do that, but they never tell us the truth on how uneasy the journey will be. And for every time we want to give up, you need to remember that you have to give yourself another try. You need to make sure that you give yourself another try. And most times, whenever you make your plans, don't be selfish about it. It's not all about yourself. It's about your community. It goes beyond yourself. Let me try as much as I can to keep myself out of the picture. But most companies today, most good companies today, most strong companies, most lasting companies today have their chain of production. So you can't do it all by yourself. It is okay if you have an idea. And it is also okay for you to bring in more people to work this thing together. It doesn't just have to be about you. How are you helping the next person? Have you said to yourself that you are going to create unemployment? There are a lot of ladies out there on the street who don't have what to do. They come by you, by your cars, and they beg. Some come, they wash your windscreen. There are opportunities for these girls. You can teach them how to be bidders. You can teach them how to sew. And these people can work as interns under you. So when you produce a shirt a day, it helps you to produce 3 shirts a day. And at the end of the day, you are not just helping the next person who is looking up to you, but you are also extending labor around you. I don't know if I'm making sense at all here. I've talked about time frame when I talked about the business plan and evaluating yourself, knowing what you want to do, asking yourself if what you have planned from now to the next year, to the next 2 years if you've achieved or ascertained a certain goal from what you have planned. I talked about that in time frame. Then you need to invest in yourself and invest in your business. You can't stop investing. You can't stop. You are not working because you just want to feed. If it's by feeding, I won't be here today. And if it's by feeding, we can always get food anywhere. If I come to you and I ask you to give me a plate of food, that's easy. But you need to reinvest. For every penny you make, you need to understand that from that penny, you can make a multitude from it. It's not for you to buy the next Gucci shoe. It's not for you to buy the next car. Yes, we want to live a luxury life. But then again, investment is key. Because you need to understand that at some point, by the time you take your oranges and you throw the seed away, what happens? Tomorrow is another day. And a lot of people do not think about tomorrow. They think about the now. And that also applies to housewives who are here today, who are depending on their husband. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but at the same time, I've always known that nothing lasts forever. And there are times where things are very difficult, things get so hard. What do? You have to be a support to your man. It's not the 20,000 naira that he gives you that you put into all the food. You need to also find a way to make sure that you regenerate that money and be a support even in your home. So your home itself, apart from your community, is also a community. And it also helps you teach your children who will become greater communities in the future. Don't be in a rush. It takes time. And that is why I said earlier that nobody told us how difficult it will be. So as much as you aspire for greatness and aspire to build bridges, and you've brought in some people, always remember that these people that you have brought in together, not everyone will be loyal to you. So you need to have that mindset again, to remember that at some point, these people will not be here for you forever. So by the time you are building, you're training people, always make sure that you don't depend on them. You also need to raise more people. So that when the first batch goes, or one, because sometimes even in your community, you will spot a bad egg and you need to uproot that bad egg. Also, you don't need to make them feel indispensable. Because the moment that person feels indispensable, they feel that they can just leave at any point. So that is very, very key. It is extremely key for you to make sure that you extend hands. But in all, do not lose the source. As much as I am willing to give it to you, to give you all the knowledge I have, there are some certain things I have to hold back because I don't want a situation where it's almost like a competition. I'm not saying that, yes, you should think about, oh, yes, I'm a competition, I want to be the president. But at the same time, there should be a little bit of selfishness. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Until you're ready to retire in that field of what you're doing. Lastly, we need to try as much as we can to pave way for ourselves and the people around us. You cannot depend on one particular thing. So I have a client, for instance, who brings the best or the biggest money to me. And because of that particular client at that particular time, I have forgotten other clients. It goes a long way. It goes beyond just that one person that you have met. Sometimes you also need to use people to get to your destination, to where you want to go. Ask questions. They say person where they ask question, no, they miss road. So it is very, very key for you to have your mentors that you follow and you ask questions. You also do researches. I was given 18 minutes to speak, and I'm guessing I've spoken more than 18 minutes already. I just wrote down points, and I'm believing that these few points that I've said or spoken about would go a long way to building bridges. Thank you very much.